Back. I'm your host, BKP. Now, for those of you that tune in on Thursday mornings for Carla's Corner, Carla is not feeling well. Also, schools are closed. Now, I did not do an announcement on schools, but you can go to fetchyournews.com and find all the announcements for all the counties for the schools that are still closed. But Carla here in Gilmer County schools are closed. So for those of you that tune in for the Carla's Corner at this time Thursday morning. Kids are home and Carla is not feeling well, so will not be a Carla's Corner this morning. We will be back next Thursday with Carla. Now, so John Kelly, let's go to John Kelly. General John Kelly is a national hero today. General John Kelly, which is now Chief of Staff, is a national hero for a couple reasons. Number one, we find out that Lindsey Grahamnesty, okay, Lindsey Grahamnesty, and what's it? Dick Durbin, Lindsey Grahamnesty, and Dick Durbin were headed up to the White House, all right, and General John Kelly, Chief of Staff, anytime somebody's coming to the Oval Office, especially when he finds out two lefties that are completely as amnesty-driven as Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin, are coming to meet with the President of the United States with a deal, he rushes to find some counterbalance to put in the room. That's basically what he said. He's, I just want the president surrounded by all of the opinions there. And so he rushes to get some counterbalance into the room. So next thing you know, there's several pro border security senators and people in the room. Along with this lady, and let's put, I think I have the picture, right? Did I send you a picture? Did I not send? I didn't send you a picture of this lady. I guess I forgot to send it. She's the head of Homeland Security. That's okay. I forget her name. That's terrible. Kirsten something, head of Homeland Security. So anyhow, we've got actually that's the white guy, that's the white girl, Kirsten, I forget her last, Neilsen, I think she's the head of Department of Homeland Security. All right. So he goes and he rushes to get people into the room, and sources say that John Kelly, an American hero to you and I today, is determined to make sure that we're not going to go soft on illegal immigration and border security. So he tells Chris Wallace, basically, he rushes people into the room. Now, the media is having a field day with John Kelly saying the president has evolved in some of the policies from being candidate Donald Trump. That's her, right? Yeah, Kirsten Neilsen. Is it Neilsen? Is that what's coming up on the last? Yeah. All right, so go back to John Kelly. She's the head of Department of Homeland Security. You're going to see the video on her in a minute. So anyhow, he says, the president has evolved from candidate Donald Trump to, actually policy President Donald Trump. And some of the policies have evolved. And the biggest thing, so they're saying, oh, there will not be a wall, like the president says, and Mexico paying for it. Let me tell you something. John Kelly did not, for the base out there, John Kelly did not go after the President of the United States. The President of the United States came into the Oval Office and said, border security. American people are going to be first. They cannot stand that he has elevated the American people to be his first priority. The media, the deep state, Cory Booker, Dick Durbin, Schumer, Pelosi. How can you elevate? This is how they come across, the audacity. How can you elevate the actual American people, the citizens born in this country, to be first in line instead of these AKA dreamer, or not AKA, also known, are these dreamers, which I can't stand when they say that, okay? Now, Kelly says that we will not have Mexico pay for a wall. What did I tell you when we started the show and Donald Trump said pay for the wall? I said the media will not be happy, and I'm going to move on from this. The media will not be happy unless Ed McMahon or the Prize Patrol, Clearinghouse Prize Patrol van shows up with the Mexican president and 4 other people with the big check at the front of the White House lawn and say, Mr. President, we are here to present the big check to pay for $20 billion for the wall, okay? I said the media will not be happy. They will find every reason that Mexico is not paying for the wall, okay, if Mexican government does not show up with a big check and say, Senor Trump, here is big check for wall. That was so bad. That was really bad. But anyhow, that's what the media is waiting for. What Kelly said is there will be some new fees, maybe on visas, through Mexico, green cards. There's renegotiations now in NAFTA to where the trade deficit may not be quite the issue. There may be more, I don't like the word protections, but it may be a better deal for America, you and I. Okay, with all the things that Trump is doing, all right, look at Tim Cook repatriating billions of dollars. Where is it coming from? Other countries. Other countries. The CEO of Apple, they've had this money offshore. So he's bringing it from another country that they've had offshore back into this country. There's so many different ways, the realities of what the President of the United States is doing. I'm looking at you, and I'm going to look in the camera and tell you, Mexico will pay for the wall. The President did not lie to you. Now, what is the wall? Now, first of all, we've done the cognitive function test, and we told you any 3-year-old could start mastering, okay? So the first thing Trump did when he got into Oval Office there is he, after seeing what time it is and after seeing if he could take the lid off a jar, he said, hey, let's look at the total topography. Is that the word? I don't know. The total topography of our southern border. Let's see where the most dangerous zones are that need brick and mortar, need concrete, need a wall, okay, that nobody can dig under, scale, or dig through, or blast, or hit with a battering ram by a cartel. Let's look at the areas that are not conducive to building a wall, but we can use a laser cross-beam system that anybody that crosses sensors will know immediately that we have people crossing. And let's look at the areas where water is actually the barrier that the border runs between. So let's look at the entire 2,000 miles, 1,900 miles or whatever it is, and let's pick out and set up what border security looks like. So many miles of that border security is see-through wall. They need to see the attacker, all right? So many miles is going to be concrete maybe. So many miles will be just fencing. I'd like to see an electric fence, okay? Myself, when you jump up there, could you see a little Mexican jumping up, grabbing that fence and falling off? Oh, Senor, and stepping in some water before he does, or she, that's wrong. I got to reel this in. I have to. Anyhow, so the President of the United States has not evolved. He actually had a logical thought and sat down with some serious people and said, for 2,000 miles, what is actually the most conducive way to secure the border? Now, he takes John Kelly, which is Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Remember, he's Department of Homeland Security, and he does nothing down there but just evaluate everything. John Kelly knows. And he goes and he reports to the president. See, John Kelly said he's in it for the long haul. See, the media has to see who will quit. Can't we get somebody to quit? He's crazy. How long will John Kelly put up with this? Just saying. So the media will pay, Mexico will pay for the wall. We'll get into Donald Trump's tweets in just a minute, okay? Who will shut down the government? We'll talk about that. Now, a couple days ago, we know for sure, a couple days ago, there was a meeting and there were several in the room. And the Department of Homeland Security, head of Department of Homeland Security, we've heard Tom Cotton say, hey, you know what? The president didn't say that. We've heard David Perdue say he didn't say that. But I want to play this video, all right? And this is, and I want you to see how this lady is being treated by Cory Booker. I have to play this video. Let's go to the video that says Cory Booker rips DHS chief, okay, about him. This is Cory Booker. This guy wants to be president of the United States, folks. He doesn't want to be the first black president. He wants to be a first allegedly gay black president. That's not just saying, just my words. Let's go to this video. Watch the way he treats this white woman.
In an Oval Office meeting, referring to people from African countries and Haitians with the most vile and vulgar language. The language festers. When ignorance and bigotry is allied with power, it is a dangerous force in our country. Your silence and your amnesia is complicity. Right now in our nation, we have a problem. I don't know if 73% of your time is spent on white supremacist hate groups. I don't know if 73% of your time is spent concerned about the people in fear in communities in this country, Sikh Americans, Muslim Americans, black Americans. The fact pattern is clear of the threats in this country. I hurt. When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about his experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt and that pain and to dismiss some of the questions of my colleagues, saying I've already answered that line of questions when tens of millions of Americans are hurting right now because of what they're worried about what happened in the White House. That's unacceptable to me. There are threats in this country. People plotting. I receive enough death threats to know the reality. Kamala receives enough death threats to know the reality. Maisie receives enough death threats to know the reality. And I've got a president of the United States whose office I respect, who talks about the countries of origins of my fellow citizens in the most despicable of manner. You don't remember. You can't remember the words of your commander-in-chief. I find that unacceptable. Mr. Chairman, I'm grateful to be on this committee. I'm more than ever today happy I am here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's good to find out what Democrats find is unacceptable. I'm serious. That's the big word. I find this unacceptable. It's great to find out what Democrats classify as unacceptable. I love it. There's a whole list, Cory. What's unacceptable? I don't know. What's unacceptable? Would it be unacceptable for Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch to be sitting on a plane together on a tarmac out in Arizona? Or should they have been standing on a corner in Winslow? What's unacceptable? I'm serious. It's interesting. And Cory wants to be president of the United States. And listen to this. You think about this, because these guys can't even lie well. I mean, makeup, lights, camera, go. They're actors. They think they're freaking actors, and they're doing a show. Okay? Dick Durbin called him. When Dick Durbin called me to tell me what happened, I had tears of rage. Could you hear Cory Booker? Dick. Hello, how are you this afternoon? Dick, calm down, calm down, calm down. You've got to be lying. No, Dick, this man did not effing say shithole. He didn't do it, Dick. It didn't happen. Please, Dick, tell me you're wrong. Oh my God. I have friends from Haiti on my Christmas card list. I mean, and they want you and I to fall for it. That they're so disturbed by this salty language. Are you listening? That's what he said. Are you listening to me, white woman? Are you listening? I don't know if you're spending 70% of your time on white supremacy hate groups. The people out there living in fear. Let me tell you who's not living in fear. I'll tell you who is not living in fear this morning. I'm going to gather this up for you. The people that work at Apple this morning, that are getting massive raises and bonuses, they are not living in fear. They're just not. Rough, tough, strong language. All right, let me play another video. This time is going short. I want to get another video ready. And I'll tell you which one I want now. So let's go with, did I send you the one? Kirsten Neilsen claims I did not hear what was said. That video? No, let's go, yeah. Let's go to that one. Kirsten Neilsen claims I did not hear. You got to go into yesterday. Because I sent it yesterday. I'm sorry. That was on the yesterday's show we were going to do. All right, that's yesterday's emails. Okay, Kirsten Neilsen claims I did not hear that. Okay, I want to put that up. All right. And this is Dick Durbin. And then I want to play that. So this is Senator Patrick Leahy from Vermont. All right. And he is outraged. So we have found out, folks, we have found out from Cory Booker what's unacceptable. All right. Now, Patrick Leahy, the Democrat senator from Vermont, yes, there's two senators from Vermont. There's Bernie Sanders, the socialist, and then there's Patrick Leahy, the Democrat senator from Vermont. And he's, I think he's 80 years old also. We okay with that? All right, let's play this one. Now he's still talking to Kirsten Neilsen, Department of Homeland Security, because she's in the meeting. She's in the meeting. Go ahead.
Now, last week in the Oval Office, President Trump reportedly said the most vulgar and racist things I've ever heard a president of either party utter. In fact, I've never heard any president, Republican or Democrat, utter anything even similar. Now he denies using the specific word, and there's been some, maybe he used a different word, maybe he didn't. Now, Madam Secretary, you were in the room. You're under oath. Did President Trump use this word or a substantially similar word to describe certain countries?
I did not hear that word used, no, sir.
That's not a question. Did he use anything similar to that describing certain countries?
The conversation was very impassioned. I don't dispute that the president was using tough language. Others in the room were also using tough language. If I could, the concept and the context, I believe, in which this came up was the concept that the president would like to move to a merit-based system. He would like to not and no longer look at quotas from countries.
Did he use what would be considered vulgar language referring to certain countries?
The president used tough language in general, as did other congressmen in the room. Yes, sir.
Yes, the others aren't. President, you imply the president was articulating his support for a merit-based immigration system like those in Australia or Canada.
Okay, so we found out what's acceptable, and it's unacceptable by Cory Booker. The Democrats have disclosed what's unacceptable to them. And then I just want to make a note, okay? Maybe Patrick Leahy, the senator from Vermont, maybe the reason the most vulgar and racist language you've ever heard, maybe it's because Vermont is white. I don't know. Just checking. Maybe all of you up there that are staying at the inn, you know, it's the only thing I remember, you know, Newhart, right? It had an inn in Revolve. And I mean, I never heard Larry, Daryl, and Daryl use language quite like that. So, I mean, I can understand, Patrick, that you did not hear that while working at the inn from Larry, Daryl, and Daryl up there in Vermont. But I want to say on a serious note, maybe, did you hear him slurring his words? Maybe he needs to have some cognitive. Maybe there needs to be some cognitive testing for Senator Patrick Leahy. I'm just saying, I'm not being mean. I mean, did you hear this guy? He couldn't put two words together and he's slurring his words. It's like, I'm really worried about that guy. But now we find out that it's the most vulgar and racist thing I've ever heard. Well, Ted Kennedy, you know, I tell you what, Ted Kennedy, I think Ted Kennedy and Chris Dodd, when they raped that waitress that night, allegedly raped that waitress, I bet you when they were drunk and allegedly raped that waitress, I bet you those Democrats might have used some tough language. But he's never heard such racist things, ever. He's never heard nothing like that in his life. Okay? Now, what did she say? She's trying to tell you that it was flying. Okay, see, we understand out here in America, when she said, I'm in the room, there's some tough language in the room, okay? Other congressmen in the room. Now, Sam, I got a question for you. You know, if Doc Whaley does this every Friday, I very seldom do this. Dr. Whaley asks Sam 15 questions. But I just want to know, because I want you to tell me when and we got to set this up. This is a woman, so we have to check this out. You know, we have to check this out. Did you understand? Do you have the level of intelligence to understand, as a woman, that when she said, another woman was trying to tell him some tough languages in the room? Did you pick up 2 and 2? Did you have enough common sense to pick up that it was kind of sound like she's saying it was flying back and forth all over?
From a woman's perspective?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that women have to have some special clarification.
I just want to get a clear understanding. Listen, Kirsten, the lady there, and that's why I wanted this lady to tell you, the lady there's trying to tell everybody there, it's flying back and forth. I mean, there's F-bombs dropping. I mean, she was trying to avoid them. It's like, I mean, she's trying to tell them, look, you're all concerned about the word shithole, and I'm sorry, I don't want to use that too often, okay? But that's what you're worried about. And it's the most racist thing you've ever heard. I mean, I'm wondering how this lady keeps from laughing. This is the most vulgar, racist thing. And then Cory Booker yells at this lady. People living in fear. She's thinking, living in fear. You should have been in the room. I was listening to just boom. She keeps saying tough language, tough language. Now, let's get one more video on this, okay? Because I am going to do the local spots. We're not leaving today without the local spots. Let's pull up. There was a second one, okay? The exchange between Neilsen and Durbin. And that was yesterday also. Tell me when you have that one ready. You got that one? Okay. This is Dick Durbin, okay? Now this is wait a minute, before you go to this, you need to understand. They spent your tax money asking this lady if she can remember anybody using a bad word. I swear to God, it's the only way I can frame it. That's how crazy this damn place has gotten up there. We're going to shut the government down. We're more interested in 800,000 people that did not come here legally, okay, that are here against the law. All this stuff is crazy. It's bat crap crazy because we're trying to figure out, and we're spending millions of dollars of your tax money to figure out if someone said a bad word. So this is Dick Durbin, because God knows this is Dick Durbin. He was in the room. Let's play Dick Durbin and Neilsen's conversation.
I hope you remember me. We were together at 2 meetings last week. I would like to ask you about one of those meetings. It occurred about noon on January the 11th. You were a few minutes late. I know, and asked forgiveness, but were called at the last minute to come and attend. Some things were said at that meeting which I believe we have to address today. People across the United States and around the world want to know what this president believes should be our priorities when it comes to immigration. I'm going to ask you, as best you can, to recall what you heard the president say when it came to those priorities. What do you remember the president saying about immigration from African countries to the United States?
What I heard him saying was that he'd like to move away from a country-based quota system to a merit-based system. So it shouldn't matter where you're from, it should matter what you can contribute to the United States.
How did he characterize those countries in Africa?
I don't specifically remember a categorization of countries in Africa. I think what he was saying is, as far as best I could tell, and as you know, there were about a dozen people in the room, there were a lot of cross conversations, there was a lot of rough talk by a lot of people in the room. But what I understood him to be saying is, let's move away from the countries and let's look at the individual and make sure that those we bring here can contribute to our society.
Do you remember the president saying expressly, I want more Europeans, why can't we have more immigrants from Norway?
I do remember him asking about the concept of underrepresented countries as a fix. This was in the conversation about removing the diversity lottery and how we could reallocate that. And I do remember him asking if we do that and we then assign those to countries that are unrepresented, aren't we just continuing non-merit-based immigration? So from that perspective, I think he did ask, would that cover European countries, or by its nature, would that mean that we are further establishing immigration to purposefully exclude Europeans?
What did the president say about immigrants from Norway?
I heard him repeating what he had learned in a meeting before, that they are industrious, that they are a hardworking country, they don't have much crime there, they don't have much debt. I think in general, I just heard him giving compliments to Norway.
You said on Fox News that the president used strong language. What was that strong language?
Let's see, strong language, there was, apologies, I don't remember a specific word. What I was struck with, frankly, as I'm sure you were as well, was just the general profanity that was used in the room by almost everyone.
Did you hear me use profanity?
No, sir, neither did I.
Did you hear Senator Graham use profanity?
I did hear tough language from Senator Graham, yes, sir.
What did he say?
He used tough language. He was impassioned. I think he was feeling very strongly about the issue, as was everyone in the room. And to underscore a point, I think he was using some strong language.
Do you recall that the strong language he used repeated exactly what the president had said prior to that?
I remember specific cuss words being used by a variety of members.
I'm not going to ask you to say those words here, but I will just say for the record, Senator Graham spoke up in a way that I respect very much, countering what the president had said about countries in Africa, reminding the president that his family did not come to America with great skills or wealth, but they came here as
Okay, folks, we're running out of time, so I don't have time to play the whole thing. So Norway, it's real simple. Norway, white. Africa and Haiti, black. Bottom line. President said Norway, you cannot discuss a predominantly, a country with a predominantly white population. You can't do that, okay? That's against all of the rules. And the world is waiting. Now, Dick Durbin, God knows, first of all, he wants to check her memory. He gives her a memory check. So he does a cognitive test on her before he starts. Do you remember me? Do you remember? You know, I know you were late, and I understand. So don't try to lie here, young lady. I'm sorry, so he does that. We know that, okay? And then he says, the world is waiting to see what our priorities are when it comes to immigration. Dick Durbin, you're upset, and your friends, and the deep state, and all the above, because our priorities by this President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is the American people. So that's why you're upset. What would happen here? If they get the word out and they call Donald Trump a racist, will he lose the black vote? I mean, what exactly could happen here? He could lose. What is going on here, okay? Because I already told you, African American in the inner city, is a lot of them saying, that white boy is crazy. Did you hear what that white boy said? He's crazy, okay? What happened, okay? How did he say it? How did he say it? So she comes back and she says, there's generally profanity used in the room by everyone. Now, why is the media, CNN, MSNBC, looking for those other outrageous words? I mean, the worst language. So if somebody across the room said, well, I'm tired of those effing S-holes, what is the other profanity? You're going to tell me S-H-I-T. So this lady says, they're liars. And where I'm getting with this is the American people know the truth, folks. The fake media is the fake media. They try to create something for you to believe, you to think, and want you to feel a certain way. It's not working. Now, we have a small audience, okay? Well, we have a reach, but there's too many people like myself that can just, smell this out, whether it be, in the S in the winds, like, smell it, So, general profanity used in the room by everyone. Did I use language? No, Senator Durbin, you did not. Did Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham used some tough language. He was cussing up a storm. They're in there. We know what these committee rooms are like. But we have Cory Booker. We have all of them on there saying, oh my God, the people living in fear had to hear that. So they're going to shut the government down, right? We'll talk about that. We're going to shut the government down. Trump, New York Times, Trump has perfect cognitive test score with White House physician says. Okay. Kelly calls some of Trump's campaign pledges on immigration and wall uninformed. Meeting attendees say it's not he was uninformed. He did not know everything because he was a candidate. When you are a candidate, you do not know every single detail, okay?